Tonight's video, we're going to cover some cards that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. They're kind of what you'd call oddball cards, but I call them kind of more mainstream oddball cards. Um, they're serial issue, Kellogg's, Hostess, and other stuff that I've always liked collecting over the years. They tend to be packed full of stars and just are neat, and I think some of them were produced a lot less than the main tops and other sets of the same year. So we're gonna go through those, just some of my favorites, and just stuff I've picked up out of kind of what most people would call non-mainstream or oddball. I'm going to start with some that are really kind of odd here. Not many people bought these and kept these, but at the time I thought, hey, these are kind of cool. It was when I started getting really into vintage in '05 and '06. I picked up and kept unopened a couple of these. I'll turn it sideways so you can see the whole thing of these postage stamps. And so I was trying to figure out when I was looking at this earlier. So I bought these apparently in 2005. The whole sheet was $7.80 with stamps were 39 cents a piece. And it's pretty cool. It has some Mantles on it. There's Mantle, Ott, another Mantle, Ott, Greenberg, Campanella, Ott, Mantle. So, I mean, not a lot of players on these, but, I'll pick this up, and I've kept this unopened in the sheets ever since. And another similar postage, so this is even older because 33-cent stamps, Legends of Baseball. And so you got Satchel Paige, Honus Wagner, Josh Gibson, Dizzy Dean, Lou Gehrig. So just a neat, and so this is from 2000. There's the date on that. So 33 cents times, so I paid $6.60 for this sheet of just neat stamps. And, maybe, a lot of people maybe picked up, these and kept them over the years, but I really have never seen these in people's collections. And it's just a neat kind of historical piece. Next, another kind of just really oddball. I mean, and this is, I must have picked up a lot of things 10 to 12 years ago, because a lot of these things 10 to 12 years ago were just, back then, I'm like, I almost didn't pull the trigger on some stuff like this, but I'm like, well, it is Mickey Mantle. It's, it's got to go up. I probably paid $50 for this. It's 1969 top stamps. I guess these came in sheets of 12. I'm not quite sure. Sometimes you'll see like 4 of them or 2 of them or even 1 of them graded on by PSA. I've never gotten this slabbed. I do got to get it slabbed eventually. So it's 8 stamps. And of course, the big one on here is Mickey Mantle. And I've seen the Mantle alone go for hundreds of dollars. And so, eventually there's kind of a flaw of right there, partially torn right between those two, where there's a little piece missing. So it's one of those that I don't know if I should get the whole thing slabbed and maybe it just comes back authentic, or try to separate out the Mantle and then just get that graded. But I don't know if that would be dumb, because I mean, I've seen more Mantles out there than partially complete or complete intact panels like this. So so that's another kind of what you'd call oddball that I just picked up again, because like one of those sheets of stamps had Mantles on it. So I picked that up. Let's go into, of course, my first cards I ever had were the Hostess cards. I've run through some of these before. Of course, these are, so these are ones that I cut out as a kid. I mean, these are, I was 4 or 5 years old when these came out. So I think the Schmidt I picked up somewhere after that. I didn't get this one as a kid, but it is definitely, you can see it's cut cut bad. It would only get like an authentic if PSA ever slabbed it, but it's just something I've kept raw. So it's a 79. These are all 77s. So these are just, these are the actual ones that I cut out of boxes as a kid. So in 77, I was 5 years old. And these are just, I never got rid of them. I'll always, it's either the cutting job I did back then was horrible, but I mean, I'll never get rid of these. These were my first baseball cards. And then these I got somewhere because they're cut a lot nicer. I don't know if I got them from a neighborhood kid or something, but these same year as the Schmidt, right? Yeah. So these are 79s. So the Hostess cards were just, they're basic and they didn't hold really much of any value until recently. People are starting to, pick them up, especially graded ones. This one I bought off eBay. Again, it's probably cut too small, but, for a few dollars. Got this years ago. And of course, Nolan Ryan, pretty much one of the biggest cards in every set of the 70s. And then again, 8, 10, 12 years ago, I saw some of the Uncut Panels. And they're probably pretty common because a lot of them look like they were never used. So maybe somebody just had factory excess that they got on the cheap. But all these panels, let's see, this is 75 Uncut Panel. Let's see, I'll put it back a little bit so you can see the whole panel. Of Hostess. It's Dave Winfield, Tom Grieve, and Barry Foote. So I think most of these I tried to get ones that had stars on them. Here's a really cool one. You got 2 Hall of Famers on this one. And again, 75, you got Blyleven and Seaver on it. So these are just really collectible. I think I'd bought the intention of like getting them framed and displaying them, but I've just had them stored in one of the safes. This has Steve Carlton. So I think I went for like all the big pictures of the 70s. So Carlton on this one. This one's cool. This one's really cool. Nolan Ryan on this one. So yeah, Hostess. So you can see these were never made into boxes. They're flat, but and then here's one that's a little beat up. I think the Hank has a crease through it, but 75 with Hank Aaron on it. So this one's not in nice of shape, but and this one actually looks like it was formed kind of partially into a box. There's some glue and stuff on it, but so just with Hank Aaron on it. And these I haven't decided if I ever want to cut them out and get them graded. I would have to practice with a couple to cut them real well to make sure they get, 8s or 9s. There's one with Robin Yount rookie. So for Robin Yount rookie, I think this is more scarce than his mainstream tops. So that's kind of cool. Again, a 75. And then these I picked up actually recently for not that much. They're not in the greatest of shape, but this one has Reggie Jackson. These are 76s. And I didn't have any 76 of much of any of the oddballs, but I like them all because they all have, they tend to have red, white, and blue on them. You can see that Jackson has a small crease in it. So, I might, if I got this graded, it'd be just as a whole panel. But again, I got this kind of to display. It's really neat with the Jackson on it. This one, again, another one that has 2 Hall of Famers on it. Schmidt and Winfield. And apparently this Winfield is a shorter print for 76. I think I saw somewhere that something with the Winfield card holds a decent amount of value. So just neat stuff. And then I bought a graded one a few years ago, just again a 76, because it's only an 8, but to get 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s in these is pretty darn tough, because I don't know what they're looking for on the cutting, but the cut, this one looks perfect, but it gets an 8. You got centering and everything nice. It looks like whoever cut this did a darn nice job, but that was really cool. Bill Madlock, I always thought he would be a Hall of Famer, and I collected a lot of his cards growing up. So again, this is a 76, so PSA graded Hostess of Madlock. So we'll move the Hostess aside, and next batch of cards, we're going to talk about kind of a cereal and like Purina and Post and things like that came out like, oh man, I was buying a ton of cereal boxes in the mid to late 80s that you'd get baseball cards in them. And I'm like, oh, free cards, thinking they're going to be worth, hundreds of dollars someday. These are actually don't hold, even in tens, don't hold much value. But I cannot tell you. I think these came in Cookie Crisp in all the Ralston Purinas, but I think I bought a ton of Cookie Crisp back then. These are 84. Okay, these are a little older than I thought. So these, let's see, there's a first edition cereal series, I think. Yeah, so this is the first edition. Yeah, 84. Does this see? Oh, okay, so there was different. So this one's top cereal series. So I don't remember what this came in. I want to say these Ralstons came in Cookie Crisp, but you could see slightly different variation, different design, but same backs as far as stats wise. And a lot of the other stuff, the banner up top, but you can see this one has a background of top cereal series. This one's Ralston Purina and has the Purina symbol on the back. And then another one in a little bit nicer shape is this Schmidt. Again, this is an 84 Ralston. And then later 80s, this one's not in the greatest shape. I actually saw this on one of those reviews of recently sold. A 10 of one of these went for a few $100s recently. I want to say this is a 90. Yeah, it's a 90 Post cereal. So this one I bought. I didn't get this out of a box, but just the cereal cards are neat. And then an Oddball food card again, and this is really low grade, probably with maybe a 2 or 3. This Ricky Henderson from Sunflower Seeds. Again, I saw one of these graded sell on one of those weekly lists of recent sales, and so this is a 1990. Yeah, Ricky Henderson sunflower jumbo sunflower seeds card. So just neat oddball stuff that I like. One of my favorites, actually, or the favorite of the 80s, was all the Drake's cards. I loved so I finally, maybe 5 years ago, I picked up the complete set of 81 Drake's, 33 cards. And I always loved it because it had different pictures than the Topps issue of that year. And they tended to be really cool action shots versus the posed shots in the Topps. So I have these in number order. I mean, and it was just, you had like 3/4 of the players in this were big stars, and and ended up being Hall of Famers. I mean, you got some, Cesar Cedeno, Charbonneau, Hendrick, who did, these guys didn't amount to much, but then you have Gary Carter, and then of course a run of kind of commons right here, but then Carlton Fisk. And I loved these because all the way, I don't know how many years they made these, 81, 82, 83, 84, I think. They had the same backs as the Topps. I mean, everything the same, except instead of Topps, it has Drake's and has the number in a different spot. But everything else about the backs, when you, other than what makes a big hitter up here, but all this part of the card was the exact same. If you hold it up to a Topps from that year, this is the same back as the Topps card from 1981. So this is a complete set of 81 Drakes. And man, I should have jumped on it. There was like an 83 Drake's vending box on eBay for $70. 500 cards. So you'd get, it's not a big set, so you'd get like 16 of every single player. But I mean, they're all superstars. So this was one of my favorites as a kid, the Pete Rose Drakes. And some of these are in nice enough shape that I should, or I might get them graded someday. Um, but this Reggie's cool. Look at that. It's just unique pictures. Loved Garvey. These all are off center a little bit to one side, but they're really cool cards. So I always liked the Drakes. And then the final kind of call it oddball are the Kellogg's. And I have a bunch more of these, but I loved them as a kid because I was like, well, why can't Topps make their cards all shiny and stuff? So I picked up a complete, have it all sleeved. Of course, the problem with these, getting them graded, is luckily none of these are cracked, but they would crack or curl, and getting nice cards of Kellogg's was tough. So this is the complete 82 set that I picked up. So all 64 cards. So I loved the Kellogg's because they're really cool. I don't know what else to say. They're just, again, they had all different photos than the Topps of that year, and all the superstars. It's, even more superstars and Hall of Famers than the Drakes. There's the Ryan. Trying to do it without getting glare on it. So the complete Kellogg's. And I don't know, maybe we didn't buy much Kellogg's, but I don't remember getting many of these out of cereal boxes as a kid. I have a few somewhere. Of course, they're, more beat up, but that's a cool Reggie, a Schmidt, Suter, Rose, Kingman. Neil Allen got a card in this set. Sutton, Conception, Hernandez, Gary Carter. So just really enjoyable set. Fisk, Guidry, Carlton, Yount, Bench, Gossage, Necro, so I didn't pay much for this this complete set. Jim Palmer, Yastrzemski, Garvey again, Parker, Carew, Raines, and Eddie Murray finishes out the set. And then there's, these were all, I think the first year the Kellogg's was 1970. I forgot when they stopped making them. But is this an 81? Yeah, here's an 81. So, they had a unique design every year. And then recently, again, just like with that Hostess Madlock, I picked up a couple of graded Kellogg's. The first one I got was this, and I didn't pay a crazy amount for this. Not crazy amount. I don't think I spent more than I'm going to say like the $35 to $45 range for this. Look at this. It's a 52-year-old card in a 10. So I know some of the years of Kellogg's were easier to get in high grade. Just if they didn't have cracking and they're centered. They're a hard plastic, so they're not gonna wear like cardboard cards of this era or the Topps. But this was just such a cool Brock, and this was different than the other. There was something I read an article in the PSA magazine where this is called like Exograph or something like that, where the 73 was different. And then there was something different about the 70s also, the 1970 cards. But look at that, Hall of Famer and a PSA 10. And then again, I picked up a 76, like the 76 Madlock. I picked up because it's looked cool with the red, white, and blue. So I picked up a Garvey, a 76 Garvey in a 10. Not a high dollar card. I probably paid like $15 for this, $18 maybe. But a nice gem mint 10 of a 76 Kellogg's. So just, I've picked up a couple of these. I picked up a 19, is it 70 or 71? It was raw for $15 from the local card shop of a Kellogg's, my first Kellogg's football, just a few days ago, of Johnny Unitas. A Kellogg's of Johnny Unitas. It's decent grade. It might grade a 6 or a 7 if I got it graded, but it's just really neat. With the football, they have, like, instead of the baseball, they have a little football helmet in the one corner, and has Johnny Unitas posed on it, and just really neat. So I had to pick it up, kind of, another oddball. So I like these oddball cards to I think they're really neat, unique pictures in a lot of them. Even the ones that came out in the 80s. I mean, yeah, there's nothing rare about the ones from the 80s, but they're just fun to collect. And a lot of stuff I collect is, what a lot of the other YouTubers say is collect what you love. And, all these Kellogg's and cereal and Hostess cards I picked up because I liked them, not for any investment purpose or anything, but they're just neat and I like looking at them. So that's it for this video. I just wanted to run through some of these, I call them kind of fun cards that I really enjoy. And thanks for sharing with me, and you guys have a good night.